Here's the biggest problem why most health and fitness coaches don't succeed in this business, okay, is because they have a lack of patience and they have a lack of endurance, okay? This was a question that was asked when we were on our past, coaches and students podcast. They asked, what does it take to be successful as a health and fitness coach these days? It's because people don't have patience and they don't have endurance, right? They don't have patience to put in the work, right? And they don't have literally the endurance to be able to endure the hard times. So they hit the quit button right there. We go way more in depth on there. We talk about faith. We talk about business tactics, the whole shebang in this. So check out this conversation we had with Colt and Milton and Taylor Milton.
For those that don't know you, why did you decide to transition from coaching athletes to coaching coaches like us?
It's a great question. Chris, you want to take that one, or
yeah, I'll take it. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So we started off as personal trainers in 2009 to 2011 and did the whole in-person training. And then a little bit early before 2011, we actually started hiring Dr. Lay Norton as our coach. And that really is what inspired us to do the online coaching. So we did, online coaching from late 2010 to about early 2018. So we did it, guys, for almost close to like a full decade. That's really what it was. And we were just at that point, we were just a little bit burnt out, with all of the health and fitness coaching. And I think that one of the biggest things was when we actually were in Ty Lopez's business builder. And that was basically like the aha moment to where we just saw everybody talking about all these business things like sales, marketing, funnels, like all these things. And we just found it fascinating because throughout like building our business dynamic duo training, we were very good coaches, but we were also very good marketers, right? We were just hungry, like to learn more about it, like how to get ourselves out there, how to position ourselves, how to build the brand. So we always had that in us, but we saw the gap. It's just flat out that there's a lot of health and fitness coaches out there that were very good at their skill of like training, nutrition, but they just did not have like the belief, the mindset, like the tools to be able to sit there and build a six-figure business. And we had done it, so we wanted to help people out, make less mistakes and accelerate that learning curve.
Yeah. And I want to say too, just to add to that, like everything Chris said spot on, but what I saw too was like, we went through certification programs, multiple ones, invested time and money and, really learned the competency of like exercise, nutrition, how to do all that, which is great. It's great info. But at the end of the day, the biggest gap was they did not teach you, number one, how to know your worth and value, how to sit there and monetize higher paying skill sets like marketing, sales, really instilling belief and certainty to other people. So we were just like, man, like we know all this stuff, but it's like, what do we do with it? How do we make money? So we saw all that frustration. We're like, we got to fix this some way, somehow.
Yeah. 100%. One of the aspects about your coaching that I think was always Taylor's my favorite was how when we would do breakout rooms and how you would help the rest of the students teach each other on things that they are qualified at. And then it's amazing how one of the best ways to learn something is to teach it. That's just something that you guys were very, very skilled at helping us to do. Yeah. What general practices do you follow to help growing leaders develop their skills in a way that they can teach others?
Yeah. The first thing I would say, man, that stands out to me is just like we lead by example. So like, at the end of the day, it's like you are your own best investment. You truly are. So for us, Chris and I, early on, we were just heavily invested into ourselves. And we're like, we're going to bet on ourselves, no, we can't really depend on anybody else. So it's like, we have to sit here and be resourceful. We have to spend money to make money. We have to learn from other people that are smarter than us and acquire their knowledge and their skills to then give to our students. So, I think that was the biggest thing, just like that form of leadership is just like walking the walk, like investing in yourself and not having that scarce mindset, that poverty mindset, and just really understanding that like building a business, it's not about you. It's about helping and serving other people.
Yeah. I think also too, guys, it's just like, just walking the walk with it too, like what Eric said, and the discipline, the focus and consistency aspect of it after 13 years of being in this game. And it's like, we don't lie. We don't say that like we're on top. We don't talk about numbers. Usually we don't talk about like, these are all just success and wins that we have. We paint the whole like 360 view of like when we have like slow seasons, if we got a loss for the whole entire year, like we're open about that stuff because it's business. And I think that's just really kind of like a showing of leadership, because there's so many people out there, coaches, marketers out there that just paint this picture like they're killing it, they're crushing it. It's easy to build a six-figure business, and it's not. It's hard. It really is. It's a grind.
Yeah, you guys are incredibly authentic, which I loved about. I mean, I knew you guys before heading into the program with you, but just watching you guys when we would get together for our bi-weekly coaching or no, twice a week coaching calls and everything. It was just you were incredibly authentic in your heart to help people change their life was just so evident in how you like led us and taught us. And so really appreciate that. And you're right. There's just a lot of people out there that aren't really truthful about how hard it is to build a business. And you guys never once said it was going to be easy, but you told us that we kept going, we kept being consistent, we kept showing up, that it was going to be worth it. And it definitely was.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, of course.
100%. And a lot of it, and a lot of it came down to us being able to follow that being able to follow that. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. I had something I was dying to add on and piggyback off of that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe it'll come back to me. What's the biggest leadership lesson that you've learned this past year?
Ooh, such a good question. I would say the biggest leadership thing that I've learned too, and it's like I learned this actually, like a lot of it you guys heard. We talk like a lot about like our pastor Keith Kraft. Like we're very privileged to go to his church and have him as like our spiritual father and mentor. But we invested into his mastermind that was here for about 6 months, and we learned a lot. And like I really bought into like his 3 Ds for leadership, and that's discover, develop, and deploy. So, for me, that was the biggest thing. Like as a leader, it's like, I wanted to level up and be more of just like a faith-based leader as well too. Like I knew I could lead and do other things with business, but the biggest thing that's always been missing in my life is like my level of faith. And like, how do I sprinkle that into my coaches, my programs, social media? Because again, it's like, that's what I truly believe in now. It's like, I am a man of God. So it's like, I some way, somehow have to discover that. I got to develop that, which is not easy. And then I got to sit there and deploy that out to the masses.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So it's develop, deploy. And what was the other D?
Discover, and then develop, and then deploy.
Discover, develop,
deploy. Yeah, that's good.
I love it. So
yeah.
So I imagine they probably called it like Triple D Bible Edition or something.
Something like that. Yeah. But when I heard that, I was like, "Ooh, that's good." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. That's awesome.
How is Christian leadership different than like worldly leadership? Have you noticed a difference between how leadership is typically taught versus what was taught at the mastermind?
Yeah, it's interesting, Colt. Like, I'm trying to still understand like a lot of it, man. Like we go to a Bible study every single week on Tuesday, and like, just some of the stuff like that people extract from it. It's amazing how they kind of just like critique it and then like tie it into the real world. And it's just like, I look at it, I'm like, how the hell did they get that? So we go to Bible study. Yeah, we go to a men's group on Saturday where they talk about the word. And then we go to, church on Sunday. So it's like, it's a lot, but it's just very hard to grasp. Right. But I think like the biggest thing that I've kind of learned about like Christian leadership to tie into it is just, as a Christian, right? It's just, if you want to be a true Christian, you have to follow kind of just like what God wants you to do. And I think that sometimes there's fake Christians where it's like, they want to do life like on their own terms, right?
Yeah.
So like, again, if they want to like, go off and maybe like party all the time, or they want to, sleep with a bunch of people and stuff like that. It's like, but they still want to like, abide by Christian rules. Well, that goes against what God wants, right? He doesn't want you to do all those things, right? And I think just people are trying to fit their world and their lifestyle into like a Christian, like, type of way. And for us, it's been the hardest thing because it's just like, how do we fit all these things and all these bad habits we used to have, like growing up and living in Los Angeles and all these things. So it's been a tough like battle with it, but I think we're finally kind of like getting it and just coming along, hitting our stride with it all.
Yeah.
And I think really quick to add to that, like 2 things that stood out to me about Christian leadership is like really understanding like stewardship. Like how do you become a better steward for God, doing it his way? Because at the end of the day, it's like, we don't own anything here. God owns everything, and you are who God says you are. So then the next thing is like it was stewardship. And then it was generosity. That's a big one that really stood out to us too, is just how do you become more generous? And then I got stuck on that last one. It was stewardship, generosity, and then, man, I got lost on that one. I'll come back to that though. But yeah, it was one more.
Notes.
No, I don't have the notes. No, it was stewardship.
Well, there's 4 things I want to talk about with like the stewardship, right? It's time, it's treasure, it's talent, and your temple, right? So I think as a Christian leader, if you steward those 4 things correctly, your time, your treasure, your talent, and then your temple is your body, right?
Yeah.
I think that's really kind of like a Christian leadership on there. And I never really thought about it like that. It's like, how do I definitely steward my time correctly? How do I really steward my treasures, which is my money, right? Which is basically tithing, right? And then being generous and go above and beyond. The next one is like my talents, my gifts that God's given me. It's coaching, right? And then my temple. How do I take care of my body first too? Because I get one body, right?
Yeah.
And to sit there and like, be gluttonous or sitting there and just like be like lazy or sit on the couch, it's a disrespect to God, So I think that's maybe something you're maybe talking about, the 4 stewardships on it.
I got it. It came back. So it was
Okay.
endurance. It was endurance.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it was endurance. And that's a big one. It's like, cause it's not easy, guys, to follow like, that Christian life and principles towards like, how much can you endure? How much pain, like how much, how many battles and tests from God can you really endure? And just look at it as to like, hey, this is a blessing. Like he's doing this for your own good. So that was what I was trying to get at, is endurance.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned endurance because our verse of the week is James 1:12, and it's about endurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a really good one.
Blessed is a man who endures trials, because when he passes,
Yes.
and he passes, he will receive the life.
So good.
I just have to say too, it's been really neat, just like watching how you guys have changed your leadership and to be like godly leadership over the last year. Like, not that you weren't godly men before that, but I've really seen a shift in the content you put out and everything. And I think that is just the coolest thing, because it's hard to be somebody who is open about their faith and put themselves out there, because you're really open to a lot of persecution.
And especially if you're doing it in a place of love, and it can come across as not being love if you're not, don't use proper discretion.
Yeah. And I just think that it's been really cool for me to watch that just from an outsider's perspective, because Colt and I also know how it is to take that leap to transition the leadership style you have from like a worldly leadership to a godly leadership. And it's a big step of faith.
Yeah, it's a different mentality. From you can look at it as how does God fit into my plan, and how do I fit into God's plan?
Yes.
You guys just said it sounds like your entire heart is just on how can I glorify God? How can I show love to others and live the way that Jesus wants me to live, and make the best use out of what he's given me in the meantime?
Right.
And then that
Exactly. Yeah. And honestly, you guys like inspired us. You guys inspired us a lot, throughout just, you guys being in our program and stuff too. I knew you guys were faith believers, and you guys really like instilled like a lot of stuff into us too. So thank you, for showing us too.
We're all here for one reason and one reason only. It's the Great Commission. It's to love God, love people, and to grow his kingdom. And, I think the reason that Colt and I are
a workout plan and a meal plan at the end of the day is kind of just a step in the right direction to help there.
But we love what we do because we get to be so open about our faith, and and that's another reason why we're just so thankful that we had you in our lives, because we are where we are because of you guys. We get to do what we love because of you guys. You taught us how to do it, but it's just neat because we get to glorify the Lord in all of that we do.
Absolutely.
And to, at the end of the day, bring people to know him. And like, that's the whole purpose of everybody being here. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, dude, come on. I was literally watching this video, watching this interview, and you literally just pop up on the screen and interrupt it. Trust me, there's a good reason for this. Just hold on, and I'm gonna let you get back to that interview or that video. Trust me, all right? So the reason why I stopped you on this is because we're giving away our book 100% free. Okay, so if you're a frustrated fitness professional, you're not growing fast enough, you're looking to future-proof and recession-proof your business by adding online training, or if you're doing online training, you want to scale and grow faster, all you have to do is check out our new book. We're giving the audio away, we're giving the PDF away. So all you have to do is click the link below in the description box and get your free copy. All right, so now back to the video.
I have another question.
100%. Yeah. What is? Oh no, I just wanted to mention. Had to throw on this necklace before.
I know, I saw the necklace.
Had to put the dumbbell necklace on, and thanks again for like the millionth time for it. But I was interviewing an IPE pro. His name is Keto Greg. He also happens to be our Keto Brick sales rep. And that was like before we even started recording. He just looked at it and he was like, "What the heck? Hey, I'll be right back." And he comes back with the same one. Philippians 4:13 on it and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I think we really answered this next question. What role has Jesus played in dynamic lifestyle? But if you guys want to elaborate on that anymore, we'd love to hear, but and we also have covered quite a bit of that too.
Yeah. I mean, this is something like I read that question. I was like, this is really good because I don't think we talk about this enough too. So like, I think one of the big things, like the vision and mission I'm on too, and I'm sure Eric has some similarities with this, but he's probably has maybe something different with his mission. But the more I've gotten to know like the word too, is like Jesus had his disciples, right? And those are the people that were helping him get his word out, right? To advance his kingdom and help more people. And for me, the more I've kind of learned about that, it's like, that's what I want to do. Like with Dynamic Fit Pros is the disciples are the coaches, right? Because my goal is to help people, number one, change their mindset and then change their physical, like physicalities, right? Because I feel like if you do that, that's the complete person right there that's going to have that carryover in their career. It's going to be, you're going to be a better parent. You're going to be more confident, more energy, all these things. And I think that is going to lead to your ultimate, like kind of like standard as a human, which then you're going to go out there and perform, make the world a better place. So it's like, that's my mission, is like helping more people with the coaches under us, like you guys, right? To advance that for God's kingdom. That's kind of like what I have, like, then what Jesus plays the role like within what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how you talked about being a parent in that, because so much of what we do reminds me of how we try to parent our children. I'm reading this really good book. I'll have to send a picture of it to you. It's a book by Paul Tripp, and I don't know if he's a theologian or anything, but he's a Christian author, and he's wrote the most incredible parenting book. I'm halfway through, and it's just like 14 biblical principles on raising your children. And it's probably there's no how to deal with this situation, how to deal with that. It's about how you are here to basically raise your child to be a follower of the Lord.
Yeah.
And that you're not really their parent. Like, you're their parent, you're the person, you're their ambassador, but like you are there to lead them to Jesus. And it is the best book I have ever read.
They're ultimately his children. We have the
Exactly
right.
Yeah. We have the honor, but also the massive responsibility to make sure that they are following him, and that we are showing them the proper way to follow him. So.
Yeah. And it's so crazy you guys say that too, because it makes me think. We were on a podcast earlier and we were just talking about just our story, like how our dad passed away when we were 17 and 18. And we played that victim role, right? Of saying like it happened to us, but it didn't happen to us. It happened for us, right?
Yeah.
And if I would have had that mindset, like growing up, like kingdom-based mindset, and he did pass, knowing that like that was like my father, that was like my ambassador, but my true father is Lord. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have played that victim mentality. I wouldn't have went down like that dark path for 6 years. You know what I mean? So that's something I'm trying to instill like in my son when he grows up.
Yeah, it's a good point. Very good point. And I think at the end of the day too, like with that, it's just when you really do get more immersed with like the word, you're like, I'm a son of a king, and just like, how beautiful is that? Just if you just say that every day, like, I'm a son of a king. And it's like what your necklace says, man, like Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's like, that's so powerful. Just those two things, like saying that to yourself every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your guys' devotional life look like? You have a regular like Bible study practice outside of church, like first thing in the morning, gratitude journal, stuff like that?
Absolutely, man. Like that's one thing that I've really enjoyed about like my transition of renewing my faith, is just really committing to like at least 30 minutes of just consuming the word every morning. First thing, cup of coffee before anything, just dive into, whatever like chapter or whatever like book I want to read in there. And then what I'll do to end it out is I'll go and just read one Proverbs. So like our pastor just would say, get in the habit of just reading, one proverb per day. So I've really committed to that, because so many things just stand out that you don't like realize when you read it at first. So that's really my devotional with that.
Yeah. Mine's somewhat similar too. I do like maybe 15 minutes of the Bible. So he's got like, he's got another 15 minutes on me with that. After that though, it's prayer time. And then that needs to be like alone with silence. Right. And then I'll listen to worship for the first 30 minutes when I get my work done. And then I try as best as I can to like literally take time during the day and just pause and just like thank God for certain things,
Yeah.
Wow. What book of the Bible are you guys reading right now besides Proverbs?
I'm reading Job's. Have you guys heard Job's? Man, that's a really good one. Like really good one.
That's a thick one.
That is
quite the long dialogue between everybody, right? And then at the end, it just freaking crazy.
But just talk about like how crazy it is how he lost everything like that. You know what I mean? And it's just it's insane. So that's what I'm reading right now.
Yeah. I just got done reading Ecclesiastics, and that one's just really, really good. Like just so many just like concepts on just like living life. So
Yeah.
that's a really good one.
It's a good follow up to Proverbs, isn't it? It kind of like
Yeah, Proverbs was so good.
Like Proverbs can almost give you like too much of a prosperity mindset, and then
Yeah.
okay, let's take a step back and just realize that nothing really matters outside of God.
Yeah. What about you guys? What are you guys reading?
I'm reading James right now. We're going
Okay.
going through it in church. I mean, it's a quick book, but I don't know, just felt like I was being moved to read it. So I'm in chapter 4 right now. And what are you doing again?
Yeah, so I'm reading the book of I'm going through Hosea right now with our clients that also kind of needs to brush up on his minor prophets too. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in the minor prophets, but I've had to put that one on hold temporarily because I'm feeling called to go a bit deeper into Genesis.
Yeah.
In the nutrition space, there's a big controversy, obviously, between the creation account, which is what the Bible teaches, and Darwinian evolution. So learning a lot there and trying to spend more time there. It's also something that I'm involved in a virtual Bible study every Wednesday night. So I guess our devotional life looks more like church on Sundays, and then Tuesdays we have
only for 2 more weeks.
Tuesdays we have a Bible study with our church. We don't have a specific men's group or women's group or anything, but since we moved from our old church, Acts in the Vancouver area, a little over a month ago, right before our move, we had just recently started a Genesis study, and so we're pretty deep in that right now, and just loving every second of it. This is something that I was going to ask you guys too. Yeah, is like obviously being this involved in your church takes away quite a bit of your time, and it takes away time on paper that just doesn't really look like it makes a lot of sense business wise. So has it been like a bit of a leap of faith for you guys to for you guys, because I know how hard you guys go. I know how hard you guys work. We work together a lot. And so is it hard for you to take your foot off the gas pedal and focus on Jesus and focus on your church, and then come back to it and be kicking yourself thinking, I could be making money right now, or I could be doing this?
Yeah. For me at first, it was extremely difficult as I was just like trying to figure it all out. You know, we moved over here to Dallas 3 years ago, going on in September, and nothing, we did nothing faith-wise. We didn't go to church, didn't read the Bible, did nothing. So we got plugged into the church and just went like 100 miles an hour. And, you know, it was overwhelming. Like, you know, we did a freedom group. We went to Mighty Men every Saturday. We went to the Bible study. Then we went to church. We served sometimes. It was a lot to where I had to step back and be like, dang, like this is great, but like, this is just too much, you know, and I can't even like think like all this stuff, like comprehend with all this stuff's going on and really just like utilize my soul and spirit. So for me, yes, it was difficult. But as time went on and just like, I got more bought into it and just going at my own pace, not comparing myself to other people's level of faiths, which I did early on. I was like, you know what? It's an endurance thing, and I got to be patient and just go at the pace God wants me to. And ever since then, now I don't worry about any of that stuff. I don't.
Yeah. And I just see it just basically like, these are all like extractions I'm taking from like, you know, the Bible study, the men's group, the Sunday service, like with our pastors, and then I'm pouring it back into like our coaches. Like, that's just how I look at that's the lens I have for it. Right. Because like you guys know the Mind Growth Monday sessions we do, that's one of my favorite sessions that we do, just because that is my opportunity on Mondays, freshly coming on into the week, is to motivate them and get them to think differently and break down those limiting beliefs, right? So that they can take action and they can move the needle in their business. And for me, it's just taking all that stuff from Tuesday, from Saturday, from Sunday, and extracting it and pouring it back into them.
Yeah.
Well, it does the same thing.
I love that. I was gonna say, like, I totally stole your idea. So
but you use Marco. So we use Marco Polo to communicate with a lot of
I remember you guys telling me about that.
Yeah. And so it's just, you know, video messages, but Colt every Monday goes to every one of our clients, and you like write an individual prayer for each person, don't you?
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
So any for everyone that shares our faith, obviously, and if someone doesn't, like, I totally respect that. And then you know, we'll obviously spend our time on things that are motivational outside the Bible. But yeah, on Mondays typically it's a personal video message to every single person out of the blue, checking up with them on how they're doing, asking them how their kids are doing, or whatever. Because again, it's a different relationship with every single person. And then by the end of the day, I just kind of put everything together in an email and shoot it out to our email list. All right.
Yeah.
Motivation Monday. Here we go. And that's
Yeah.
that's where it all originates is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I really respect how you guys like really go that high touch with your guys' like clients. Like honestly, like I made a note right here and it says high touch. And that's going to remind me to talk to Eric about this after and be like, you know what?
Yep.
I think we do a good job, but I think we could do a better job because of like what you guys are doing right now. That just inspired me. It's like, we need to step it up, you know, just those little things. So
100%.
I really respect like what you guys are doing with your guys' clients and community.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, guys. And going back to what we were touching on before, you know, as long as you're putting God first in everything that you do, and you're asking him, hey, make sure that we're taken care of financially, make sure that we're taken care of financially. He always does.
Yeah.
Always. He's
true.
He's never, ever let us down when I've said that prayer. And then it's just like, you don't know where the next sale comes from. It might be someone stumbling across your website and look someone typing in skull dumbbells. Wow, okay, they found skull bells. You know, like that's how they found us or something. But but you just never know where those leads are going to come from.
Yeah.
So,
100%, man.
how has so here at Superset, I want to put a big disclaimer on this one too, by the way, because the Bible says that teachers are held to a very, very strict judgment.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, Acts 17:11. That's what I'm going to say. Is search the scriptures for yourself and see if these things are true. But we believe that our bodies are a temple. This is what the Bible teaches. That our bodies are a temple, and we believe that while we're here, we need to be stewards of those and treat them properly. Okay, and that means our health, and that means how they look. I think if it's a temple, it should look good. That's just it's not really a temple.
I agree.
So that's how health and aesthetics ties in together here. How has seeking Jesus and diving deeper into his word improved your own athletics and how you take care of your bodies?
Man, I just think it just goes back again, just to like not letting him down. Like he's given you a body, right? And for me, it's like, I know the type of work that I'm doing here on this, like this earth, right? And it's like, it takes endurance. Like, you know, like we're working 6 days a week still, and I love it. Like I can't see it changing. I love working like that. I do. I love running myself to the ground. So with that, I need endurance, right? So I got to take care of my body, manage my stress, you know, get my 7 to 8 hours of sleep, go to the gym, eat healthy. And it's for me, it's like, if I don't do that and take care of my temple, it's a disrespect to God, honestly, because he put me here and he gave me these gifts and talents and this platform that we have with these coaches, right? And he's given me this capacity and endurance. And if I sit there and mistreat that, then I'm disrespecting him, honestly. And then I'm doing a whole disservice to all these other people out there.
Yeah. I think just to add to that too, it's like I think we're his warriors. So it's like if you're a warrior and you're out of shape, you know, you don't have like any endurance, like how are you going to sit there and battle and go to war, you know, for God? You're not going to. And that's why I think too, like there's sometimes like a facade or something that like, oh, like it's okay to have like a dad bod and stuff. And I'm like, it's not okay though, because it's a form of like, it's a low standard of excellence, you know, and you're showing that to number one, yourself, that you're okay with that's the standard that you expect from yourself. And then your kids, right. To where it's like, you got to lead yourself first before you lead anybody else. And it's just, to me, I'm just like, it starts with your temple, because that's going to just control everything, you know? So that's just my perspective on that.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, the parable of the talents is something that we studied
It's so good.
church, and I think it's Matthew 20:25b, 25:20. I always get it backwards, but Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Behold, I have made 5 talents more. And that's kind of our life goal, is to whatever God's given us. It doesn't just mean that we can have it so we can be entertained by it. I mean, even food should be viewed as fuel, not energy.
Exactly.
And so that's something that we look at our workouts, we look at our bodies, we look at our food, we look at literally everything that we have, just going, no, this isn't ours. This is ours for a season, and we need to be stewards of it in the meantime.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. What is next for dynamic lifestyle training? What's the hottest project you guys are working on now? You guys always.
Oh man, that's a good one. I think just right now, man, we're so laser focused on just like serving our coaches and students with the accelerator program. And obviously we still have like our entry level program, the OFC 2.0. And I think we're just kind of thinking too, like, what's the next thing? Like, is it maybe like a subscription model? Is it more of like a high tiered coaching where it's just more of like an experience? But other than that, man, we're just doubling down just on that. The podcast, obviously, we're over 500 episodes with that, and you guys know that takes a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work and
we got
commitment.
2 shows now, so now we're really catching up.
Yeah, and I think too, like we're trying to do like a local meetup here too, like more towards what was the date, Chris?
I think in early October.
Yeah. So just something a little bit more intimate, more in-person community. So that's really
send me an invite. I'd love to see you guys again.
Yeah, dude.
Like
you guys should come.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I want to go to Montana.
Yeah, please come here. We have lots of space. We're on 90 acres.
Trust me, when we go, like I'm gonna let you guys know because I've always wanted to go to Montana. It's beautiful out there.
Oh yeah, especially this time of year, we have a lot of rain for some really weird reason. Apparently, with us when we moved, and it is so green and beautiful. So
I would say it's a lot like Texas. It feels like Texas, just everything's smaller, except for the sky's giant.
Yeah.
I got to ask you guys: is it as beautiful as like what you see on Yellowstone?
It's better.
Really?
Dang.
Okay.
Better.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Yellowstone just like it shows you some cool things, but like we live an hour away from like Yellowstone National Park. You're right at the entrance. And so like Colt's parents have this beautiful view out their kitchen window of the Beartooth Pass. And it's just like unlike anything you've ever seen. I'll send you some pictures that I got of like
please
do
that we have, and the thunderstorms, the stars, like it's just a dream.
Yeah. Our evenings lately have been unwinding instead of watching TV. We sold our TV a while ago. We're like, we don't need this in our house. Like, so some of our favorite ways to unwind lately has just been laying in the hammock together and just staring up at the sky and just watching
the sunset,
watching it like it's a movie show. Literally every single night is something different. It's like one night it's a beautiful sunset, then the next night and it's totally clear, and then like the next night it's a whole bunch of thunderheads, and it's and if it's raining we got to get inside and we can watch it from there, but it's always entertaining and it's always beautiful and it's always something different.
Ask us again in 6 months when it's the winter, and then we'll probably reevaluate.
All that snow. All that snow. Brace
That's
yourself.
awesome.
You guys are like, so how's Montana? We're like, well, all right, let's get to the topic of the day, guys.
Well,
but I think that's really it for us, guys. Like what we're just kind of like looking forward to.
Cool. We're excited.
Cool
to watch it all.
Thank you,
guys.
Appreciate you guys' time and your continued mentorship as always. Like I said, you're always there for us. Really you really helped us out with the posing music too, by the way. So posing class tomorrow morning with all of our competitors, and now that's one of the biggest things I learned from you is to bring the energy to every single group training.
Exactly.
Since we've been doing group trainings, that's something that you guys have always been on top of. Music, energy, attitude. So just want to thank you a lot.
Thank you, man.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll reconnect soon.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. I hope you got a ton out of that conversation that we had on being on Colt and Taylor's podcast. All right. Here's what I want you to do now is I want you to get that copy of that book right there, the digital version, by just clicking the link below right there. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to watch this next training right here on how to build a 6-figure business. We give you 6 new ways how to do that so you can recession and future-proof your business.